So there is a common question from students: how do you make notes? Yes, this is a very common question which all of us have when we start preparing. And notes, when you say you, I'll talk about three different parts of it. The first is, how do you make notes of the current affairs? Yes, this sounds tricky to us. So what I used to do was, I used to read a particular newspaper. I used to read Hindu. Then I started reading Indian Express and the later stages of my preparation. You can choose either of them. You can read the newspaper and try to specifically focus on the editorial section. And for that, I used to make my own notes. So when I say own notes, what I mean is, I used to note down some important statements, some good facts, some statistics, some quotation, or some international report which is quoted there. When you do that for an editorial, what happens is, you are creating your own data bank. You are creating your own line of thought in that particular topic. And I had categorized them according to the different topics of the general studies. So I had made history, geography. Generally, in current affairs, you'll not have much of history, geography. You'll more have polity, economy, Indian society. What else? Science and tech, IR, international relations. So I had categorized the topics and I used to note down whatever editorial importance which I used to find in that particular head. So that gave me, at the end of 1 year, I had my own set of notes, important topics that were there for that year. So when you say current affairs, if you're giving the exam for 2023, from January 2022, your current affairs become important. From Jan 22 for the next year exam of 2023. That much is sufficient, because more or less the themes will remain same. Only the facts will change, like the amount of poverty, different facts. So the GS2 you have in GS3 different facts. So those will change, but over a year the theory part will more or less remain the same.
So one thing what I would want to say here is, I used to not make much of a notes. I am not a note making person, but I could say that it might have costed me a few marks. So now, after maybe I married Srushti, I could see her notes. So I saw her notes which was lying in there at her house. Like she had made so much of notes. Maybe itna pura like ishtu doddu bundle notes ittu, and they were very crisp to the point, and she had made lots of notes, and maybe that has helped in her general study score, I would say.
I always tell that the more organized your notes are, the more better your answers will come out to be. Reason being, our brain is like a library. And if you are not categorizing it into different subjects, if you're just, keeping it, I'll just pick up from an overall yearly compilation and I'll be able to manage it, you will be able to manage it. But to ace the exam with good score and get the service of your choice, you will have to put in a bit more of effort, right? So I would advise you to, make out your own this thing from the editorials at least. Rest current affairs you can cover from online websites. The next thing is static GS.
One more thing I would like to add in current affairs. So you get lot of value-added materials from coaching institutes. Take from some reliable institute which make good current affairs notes. So you, as madam was telling, editorial notes ನೀವೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಬೇರೆದಕ್ಕೆ you try to depend upon some institute notes if you are not so much into note making. But if you are doing it very well and good. And coming to static GS, what we both thought was like static GS ali, it is note making is very individual. This one choice. So you may choose to make notes for maybe history or geography, or you may not. So it will not affect much in at the end, I would say.
Because what happens is, some of your books, say we read M. Lakshmikant for polity, yes? Now this book is in itself in a form of notes. If you end up making notes of that book, you'll do a photocopy. Because already the book is very condensed, very to the point, and sort of vast, which is required for the exam. So for that, you need not go into that. So say for example, you're referring to D.D. Basu for polity. Now D.D. Basu is bit vast, deep. And if you're not a PubAd student, then you don't need that much of it. So you can sort of just pick up some important themes like, say, center-state relations or DPSP or fundamental rights. You can pick up those themes from that book and then you can make some bit notes of that. What notes does is keeps in your head and in your copy, it sort of consolidates your information and it becomes easier for you to revise. So we will talk about revision, but at the outset, I'll tell you that no matter how much you read, the only thing which you can revise matters. Because you are reading so much vast things, you have so many subjects to read. So if you end up just making notes and not revising them, there is no use of them. Right? So you have to understand this basic, you have to keep in mind the revision factor also in your head. So we'll move on.
Optional.
Yeah.
When it comes to note making of optionals, I would say this should be compulsory. If optional, I would stick to English. You should make notes of optional. So my optional was medical science. So as I told, I was not a note making person. I used to hate making notes right from school. But for optional, I had to make notes because you cannot revise optional in a week. So it is so vast that to particularly technical subjects like medical science and all, it's so vast that you can't revise in a week. So you have to make your own notes. So what I did was like I made a few of my friends make notes for me, and I used to read that. But the point to take away from here is
Not sure we're getting those friends, everybody of us. So I more was a, work, strive hard, that kind of a thing. So he got friends who could make notes for him. I'm not sure if you all would get that.
yeah, but optional may you should definitely make your own notes. Your own notes will definitely add much value than reading somebody else's notes. The medical science has notes available on internet of one of our senior, so it's really good. But if you read that, you'll not be able to grasp it as much as you have prepared on your own. So optional notes making is very much necessary. Even if you don't make any other notes, you make sure that you will make your own optional notes. Okay?
It is usually said that don't make a notes on first reading, make a notes on after second reading and third reading. Ma'am, what is the gap between the first reading and second reading, ma'am? If we give too much of gap, means if we read second time also, it will get, we are reading first time only.
Yes.
So we are stuck between how to make notes, means the gap between first reading and second reading and third reading.
Fine.
Ma'am, this is the,
Yes.
thank you, ma'am.
So this question is basically applicable for static part, correct? Say for example, the newspaper for 30th July. Will you be going back to it after a couple of days? No. 30th July newspaper is gone. Then will come 30th August and so on. So this question is applicable for static. I am reading NCERT for the first time. Should I make notes on the first go? Not advisable. Reason being, first time everything sounds very fresh. First time I read magma and lava, I feel, oh, there was something like that in 6th standard. Now it's again feeling fresh. But when I am reading about the different theories, the Wegener theory and whatnot of geography, I will see that lava magma concept is extremely basic. UPSC is not going to throw you such questions, neither in prelims nor in mains. So that means that I'm not going to make notes out of it now, of that particular topic. But if you are reading something from GS2, you are reading the concept of, tell me some political concept, anything. Say communalism. I'm reading about communalism from the 11th standard political science NCERT. Yes. I read it and then I found over and over UPSC is asking me communalism. So yes, that particular topic becomes important for me. I might want to note down some important things from it. When it comes to the second reading, third reading, that will be more applicable for your standard books. See, what is the layer of your preparation? Base is your NCERT. That is the base. Please don't ignore it. Please don't say that I am an art student, I've taken humanities, I'll leave on NCERTs, I'll directly pick on the standard books. No. You can see for yourself, 2018, we had a question in GS1 that was directly drawn from 11th standard NCERT history. The particular chapter topic was picked up. So the themes UPSC is concerned about of NCERT, do read it. Second thing of your preparation is standard books, yes. Every standard book, the third part of your preparation is your reference books. So you don't need reference books for every subject. But say for example, if you feel that I need to read a bit deeper for polity, so I may take up D.D. Basu as a reference. My standard book will be Lakshmikant, like that. So for notes, that is all. First reading, thoda, you can sort of keep it aside. Maybe in a week, maybe in 10 days when you revisit the topic and you somehow forget a couple of concepts, then you can sort of just write it down in your copy that, this is something which is important, right?
If I have to add on to that, so if so many people will have this doubt, so should I make notes now when you're reading this? So what you can also do is keep four books each for GS 1, 2, 3, 4. So whatever you read, if you feel like this is worth making note of, so then you note down in that particular book. So here it will not be organized, because today you will be reading some topic. Again, after 10 days, you will be reading the same topic again. So in this page, you would have made notes. After 10 page, again, you will make the same notes. So here it will not be organized, but your doubt of whether I should make this now or not, or will I miss this information if I miss it today. So this will be solved. So this is what I would advise. If you have this kind of doubt, take 4 books. So if you feel like this is a point worth noting down in GS2, note it down in GS2 paper. So if it is GS4, if you see some example of something, maybe in social media, everybody is active in social media, you will be coming up across so many stories of different ethical values in social media.
Yes.
Note it down in your GS4, this one. So you can use it. It's very, it will be very new example which other aspirants will not use. So they will use example of maybe Mahatma Gandhi ji or some other great leaders which everybody will know of. So you will use some new, this one which you would have picked up from the common man, which is from the society. So,
that's where with the what we were telling you is create your own data bank. Yes, it's your own personalized set of personalized set of revision notes. You can just go back to again and again. And for a lot of us, writing down really helps us memorize it. That's also one thing, because each of our learning capacities are different. Some of us like to write it and learn. Some of us like to read it aloud to ourselves, listen to it and learn. Some of us will, just read it once and they'll be through. So we all have different learning capacities. You should understand, try and find out your own learning capacity, how you learn the best. I used to learn the best if I used to write it. So I used to write a lot. And once written, it used to be sort of highlighted in my own head that, this topic is important, something like that. So you can just find that for your own self and prepare accordingly, right?
As we are talking about notes, so I think Madam will be uploading much of her notes also.
Yeah, on my
so
blog, yes.
she has opened her own blog where she can interact with aspirants directly. If you have any question, you can ask her directly on the blog. She will reply to that whenever she gets time. So there she is planning to upload much of her notes, whichever she finds.
Just to give you an idea of, how do you go about by.
Sir, we are subscribed to coaching classes and all. They will make us to write the notes and all. Notes, sir. They will make us to write. So there is a dilemma that if we have to rely on our coaching classes notes or whether to go on all other books.
I attended a formal coaching and I found out that I had to make my own notes. Yes. See, the study which you will do there in the class is important. But what is more important is when you come back home and you study those notes and then you try to answer a question from pre or mains. Are you able to do that from those notes? If yes, you can completely rely on it. If no, you need to move on for your own kind of value addition to it. Got my point? Yes? So you are going to make your own notes there. Say, for example, somebody would explain to you or dictate to you, you'll write it down in your copy. Please go home, read it again. Does it make sense to you? Are you able to solve some question out of it? You won't be able to answer that on the same day. But when you complete that particular topic, that particular subject, and then you pick up on an answer, on a question, and you try attempting it. If you are able to do it, then well and good. If not, our goal is to crack the exam. All right. So we'll take this also, we'll take that also, we'll do 200% of what is required. So my message to you is, do not rely completely on a particular source. Make your own sources, make your own bank of data, make your own bank of notes, and that is much better.
So you can do like this if you have this doubt, if anybody has this kind of doubt. So what I would suggest is, coaching institutes, they would have announced what they are going to teach beforehand. Alla sir, ಮುಂಚೆನೇ ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಏನು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. So you should be able to read that first and then go or sit in the coaching class. So then pura like nimde en doubt ide, it would have been cleared. You have already read, you have went to the class, you sat there, you have understood what they are trying to explain, you understood the concept, then you are making notes. So then you would have, then it suffices both your own preparation also and also coaching notes also. So this is what you can do. But if you if you are able to read the topic and then go sit in the class, so that will be the most beneficial thing which you'll be doing for yourself. You would have completed the whole topic then and there itself.
But what happens is practically it becomes a bit difficult sometimes. You don't get time to, beforehand do it and then sit. So you can just go there. You can, if you can prepare a bit before on the topic, it will be really good. So in the class, it will be more beneficial for you. है ना? How I reached here and what has been my journey, कैसे यहाँ पे पहुँची हूँ. तो ये कहूँगी सबसे पहले कि स्कूल में मेरे पूरी एजुकेशन जो है भोपाल में कंप्लीट हुई है. तो स्कूल में कहीं से कीड़ा आ गया था कि कहीं किसी को देख लिया होगा, कहीं सुन लिया होगा, कहीं पढ़ लिया होगा कि IAS ऑफिसर नाम की कोई चीज़ होती है. बट तब मुझे ये भी नहीं पता था कि देयर इज़ अ UPSC एग्ज़ाम, you can become something else as well. There are other categories, there are other options. कुछ भी नहीं पता था. While I got into graduation, तो graduation में second year में जब आई, तब लगा कि exactly करना क्या है. कि आप chemical engineer की नौकरी करना चाहते हैं लाइफ टाइम, क्या करना चाहते हैं. तो ऐसे कुछ questions मेरे दिमाग में थे and I started going through the entire career options. और फिर लगा कि नहीं, कहीं पे जो पीछे दिमाग में एक था उसको आगे लाने की ज़रूरत है. हमेशा दिमाग में ये आता था कि मैं बहुत ही नॉर्मल मिडिल क्लास बैकग्राउंड से हूँ. मेरे फैमिली में किसी ने आज तक UPSC का फॉर्म भी नहीं भरा है, एग्ज़ाम भी नहीं दिया, प्रिपरेशन भी नहीं किया. तो मेरे लिए बहुत डाउट्स थे, बहुत फियर्स थे. पर ये लगता था कि क्या मैं पढ़ाई के बलबूते पे, अपनी लर्निंग कैपेसिटी से, अपने एक नॉलेज हम गेन करते हैं उसके बेसिस पे क्या मैं ऐसे पोजीशन पे पहुंच सकती हूँ जहाँ पे लोगों के लिए कुछ कर सकती हूँ, किसी की लाइफ में कोई पॉजिटिव चेंज ला सकती हूँ. और फिर लगा कि नहीं, सिविल सर्विस एग्ज़ाम इज़ वन सच डोर जो अगर मेरे लिए खुला तो शायद मैं उस जगह पे पहुँच सकती हूँ. तो जब मैं चली थी, बहुत सारे डाउट्स लेके चली थी. मैं ग्रेजुएशन के साथ प्रिपरेशन करना शुरू किया था मैंने, तो दिल्ली नहीं जा पा रही थी उस टाइम. और फाइनेंशियल कंडीशन भी ऐसी नहीं थी कि सोचो कि ये कर लेते हैं फिर जाएंगे दिल्ली. तो लगा कि चलो अभी से शुरू करते हैं कॉलेज के साथ. सर, आपको एक बात बताना चाहूँगी. भोपाल में हम लोग रहते हैं या दूसरे शहरों में, तो हमारे लिए दिल्ली एक बड़ा एनिग्मा होता है. और स्पेशली सिविल सर्विस के वर्ल्ड के लिए ऐसा लगता है कि दिल्ली नहीं जाएंगे तो शायद अपना कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा. तो वैसा मुझे भी लगता था. बट आपको सही बात बताऊं, मैं मॉक इंटरव्यू देने के लिए दिल्ली गई थी. फरवरी 21 को मेरा इंटरव्यू था और जनवरी को मैं मॉक इंटरव्यूज़ देने गई. जब मैं वहाँ स्टेप इन किया, मैंने वो एक एरिया है करोल बाग एंड देन देयर इज ओल्ड राजेंद्र नगर जो हम सुनते रहते हैं, पढ़ते रहते हैं. वो टेरिफाइंग था मेरे लिए. हर बिल्डिंग पे, हर जगह देयर की सिविल सर्विस एग्ज़ाम, इसमें इतना कोर्स, ये पढ़ा रहे हैं, वो पढ़ा रहे हैं. मैंने अपने आप को कहा अगर यहाँ पे मैंने तैयारी शुरू की होती ना तो नहीं क्रैक कर पाती शायद. यहाँ पे रहकर इन द कंफर्ट ऑफ माय होम, जो भी रिसोर्सेज मिले मुझे यहाँ पर और इंटरनेट पे, जितना मैं उनको यूज़ कर पाई, वट एवर आई कुड यूज़, आई यूज्ड इट एंड आई क्लियर्ड इट. एंड इफ़ आई एम एबल टू डू इट, इफ़ आई वॉज एबल टू डू इट, आप भी कर सकते हैं. दिस इज़ द सिंगल बिगेस्ट मैसेज जो मैं आपको यहाँ पे देना चाहती हूँ. बाकी विल मूव इनटू स्ट्रैटेजी, क्या करना है, कैसे टाइम मैनेज करना है एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. बट दिस बेस लाइन मैसेज कि आप कर सकते हो, आप जहाँ से भी हो, भोपाल से हो या आप कहीं और हो, आप कर सकते हैं. एंड देयर इज़ अ लॉट ऑफ रिसोर्सेज अवेलेबल एंड यू कैन डू इट. तो वी विल स्टार्ट. अभी थोड़ा आई हैव प्लान्ड अ कपल ऑफ थिंग्स जो मैं चाहती हूँ आपसे शेयर करना, विच आई विल शेयर विथ यू. So there are two basic things which I feel, which if you develop in the course of your journey of preparation, you can ensure your name in the final list. एक चीज़ है कि यू हैव टू हैव योर ओन स्ट्रैटेजी. आपको आपकी खुद की स्ट्रैटेजी बनानी पड़ेगी. हम क्या करते हैं, सोचते हैं ये इनका है, जैसे आप आज मुझे सुनने आए हैं, आप मुझसे ले सकते हैं कुछ चीज़ें, पर स्ट्रैटेजी आपकी खुद की बनेगी. ऐसा क्यों? क्योंकि हम सबके बैकग्राउंड्स डिफरेंट हैं. हम कहीं से आते हैं, हमारे परिवार डिफरेंट है, हमारे एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड्स डिफरेंट है, हमारी सोच अलग है. हम कोई सब्जेक्ट पढ़ते हैं, किसी को हिस्ट्री अच्छा लगता है, किसी को पॉलिटी पसंद आता है. तो इन सब चीज़ों में आपकी जो स्ट्रैटेजी बनेगी वो आपकी खुद की होगी और वही आपको सिलेक्शन दिलाएगी. और इसलिए डरना नहीं है. अपनी खुद की स्ट्रैटेजी आपको बनानी है. आप मुझे सुन सकते हैं, घर जाकर किसी और के टॉपर के वीडियो सुन सकते हैं, मैं भी देखती थी. पर उन सब में से आपको जो भी कुछ अच्छा लगता है वही आपको फॉलो करना है. खुद का कुछ लगता है वो करना है, पर अपनी स्ट्रैटेजी आपको खुद बनानी है. दैट्स वन. सेकेंड थिंग, एंड इक्वली एंड आई वुड से मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट, कि अपने आप पर बिलीफ रखना है. ये जर्नी लंबी है थोड़ी. 1 साल पूरा एग्ज़ाम ले लेता है, उसके पहले आप 1-1.5 साल से पहले से प्रिपेयर करते हैं, वो हो जाता है. उसके पहले कभी सोच रहे हो तो उतना टाइम हो जाता है. तो जर्नी लंबी है. तो उस पूरी जर्नी में आपको अपने आप को हर दिन ये कन्विंस करना है. यू हैव टू कन्विंस योर सेल्फ एवरी सिंगल डे दैट आई विल बी एबल टू मेक इट, regardless of where I come from, regardless of what I studied, and as sir was pointing out, regardless of how much percentage I used to score in my school days or college days. You have to convince yourself every single day that yes, I will make it. So दो चीज़ें हैं, one your strategy and second determination and faith on your own. Again 2 नंबर से मुझे बड़ा प्यार है, तो again 2 चीज़ें I'll tell you. जैसे सर had pointed out, फिर से I'll say there's 2 things again which you have to have with you when you start. The first is the syllabus of this examination. You have to have a copy of your syllabus on your study table. क्योंकि प्रीलिम्स में ठीक है 10-12 लाइन का है, मेंस का जो सिलेबस है, हर चीज़, एवरी वर्ड दैट इज रिटन इन योर सिलेबस इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. हर एक वर्ड पे 20-20 पेज के आपके नोट्स, 25 पेज के नोट्स आपके बन सकते हैं. डिटेल में आप कंडेंस करके लिखो जो भी सोचो. तो अगर आप सिविल सर्विस एग्जामिनेशन की प्रिपरेशन शुरू कर चुके हैं एंड आपके पास सिलेबस की कॉपी नहीं है, तो आई टेल यू, यू हैव नॉट रियली स्टार्टेड. पहले आप प्रिंट करा के सिलेबस अपने पास रख लीजिए. द सेकेंड इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन पेपर्स. बड़ा क्लीशेड साउंड करता है, हर कोई बोलता है प्रीवियस ईयर पेपर, प्रीवियस ईयर पेपर, बट और कोई रेफरेंस नहीं है. हम जिस एग्जामिनेशन को फेस करने जा रहे हैं वो हमसे क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा है, what they really want us to know, this you will only understand when you go through the papers. So whether it is for prelims or for mains, 5 years 6 years पहले के सारे papers, get it printed, अपने पास रखिए. हर दिन half an hour या 15 minutes वहाँ पे spend कीजिए, go through the papers, go through the questions that they are asking you, and you will come to know exactly कि क्या demand है इस examination की. Now moving on, sir told you about the phases of examination. क्या पड़ाव होते हैं? There's preliminary exam, there's mains, and then there's this personality test. So when we study the preparation journey of ours, I did not divide it into prelims or mains or essay. I would divide my entire strategy and how I prepared into 2 parts. The first is the study part. What material you read, what you study, किस तरीके से पढ़ते हैं, कैसे लर्न करते हैं, हाउ यू रिवाइज, दैट्स फर्स्ट पार्ट. एंड द सेकेंड पार्ट इज अटेम्प्टिंग द पेपर. हाउ यू आर अप्रोचिंग द आंसर राइटिंग, हाउ यू आर अटेम्प्टिंग द क्वेश्चन इन योर प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन, हाउ मेनी अटेम्प्ट्स यू आर मेकिंग, या कैसे क्या हो रहा है, और द प्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ योर आंसर. दिस इज द सेकेंड पार्ट एंड दिस इज इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट. कई बार ऐसा होता है किताबें हम सब पढ़ रहे हैं, नोट्स हम सब मटीरियल अच्छा पढ़ रहे हैं, बट वी आर नॉट वर्किंग ऑन द प्रेजेंटेशन. और वहाँ पर जब आपको 9 पेपर लिखने हैं 5 दिन में, वहाँ पे इट्स ओनली अबाउट योर प्रेजेंटेशन जो 3 आवर्स में आप लिख पाते हैं. तो उस पर भी आपको इक्वली काम करना है. सो फर्स्ट लेट अस टॉक अबाउट द स्टडी पार्ट, वट एवर वी हैव टू स्टडी, कैसे क्या पढ़ना है. लॉट ऑफ माई प्रेपरेशन वॉज बेस्ड ऑन द करंट अफेयर्स दैट वी हैव. मेरे हिसाब से, और मुझे ऐसा लगता था पर्सनली, करंट अफेयर्स वाज द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट ऑफ दिस एंटायर प्रिपरेशन. कोई आप स्टैटिक पार्ट पढ़ेंगे, मान लीजिए आप हिस्ट्री पढ़ रहे हैं, आप ज्योग्राफी पढ़ रहे हैं, वो एक स्टैटिक होता है, उतना है, उतनी किताब है, इतने चैप्टर्स हैं, पढ़ लीजिए। इतना डायनामिज्म नहीं। करंट अफेयर्स ऐसा है, हर दिन कुछ नया हो रहा है, हर दिन कुछ एडिशन हो रहा है। मज़ा आता है ये पढ़ने में कि हाँ, इंडिया इसराइल में कुछ नई चीज़ें हो रही हैं, इसराइल में कुछ अच्छी चीज़ें हैं जो हम ले सकते हैं, इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन पढ़ने में, पॉलिटी का कुछ हुआ वो पढ़ने में। तो न्यूज़पेपर्स विच इज़ द बेस सोर्स फॉर योर करंट अफेयर्स, वो आपको बहुत कुछ सिखा देगा अबाउट द एंटायर प्रेपरेशन। मैंने न्यूज़पेपर से काफ़ी कुछ सीखा। आई यूज टू मेक माई ओन नोट्स आउट ऑफ द न्यूज़पेपर। और उसका जो एडिटोरियल सेक्शन होता है उसका स्पेशली आई यूज टू मेक नोट्स एंड जॉट डाउन द इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स जो भी लगते थे मुझे कि ये ज़रूरी है, सही है। कैसे पता चलेगा क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है? फिर वही सिलेबस और प्रीवियस ईयर के पेपर्स। अब खुद के नोट्स बनाने से होता ये है कि एक तो आपका कॉम्प्रिहेंशन अच्छा होता है। आप जब उसकी लैंग्वेज पढ़ते हो न्यूज़पेपर की, किसी न किसी ने लिखा होता है, उनके अपने व्यू पॉइंट्स होते हैं, किसी तरीके से वो शुरू करते हैं, इंट्रो देते हैं, धीरे धीरे टॉपिक्स में ले जाते हैं, डिवाइड करते हैं। तो कैसे आपका आंसर लिखना है ये भी आप वहाँ से सीख सकते हो। हाउ डू यू राइट, हाउ डू यू कॉम्प्रिहेंड योर ओन व्यूज़, दैट यू कैन लर्न फ्रॉम द न्यूज़पेपर।